Hey guys, this is Jules from Lycoris Recoil, and here we are. We're going to talk about the tier list for the anime of summer 2022. I know I spoke about these shows, like the introduction to them, on my summer anime recap video. Yeah, I liked a lot of them, and some of them were so-and-so. Before we go into fall and jump into the new stuff like Chainsaw Man and Blue Lock and all of that, and all the sequels that we're getting, I wanted to give a close to summer just before that, and give my last statement on some of these shows, just rank them in my list, which, again, it's just an opinion. Don't take this anything seriously. This is just me basing how much I enjoyed the show, how much I think it was worth in my own familial opinion. You have your own opinion. You can let me know in the comments where you would put these ranks, and what was your favorite show from summer 2022. I think there are a bunch of them that might be up there, so let me know. I'm pretty interested. Just as always, if you can, help me out with the like and subscribe. That really helps with the channel. So let's get started. Again, if you don't see your favorite show here, or you're thinking I might have missed one, I just made this list on TierMaker myself. You can find the link here in the description. And I put in the shows that I actually watched or started. So sorry for that. If you see a show that you think I should watch, let me know in the comments as well. Alright, so I'm gonna try to voice out my opinions here real quick. So where do we start? Okay, let's do this. So let's put in the bar already to the top it can go. Maid in Abyss, Season 2. S tier. Easily S tier. I mean, maybe Season 2 wasn't as good as Season 1 in my opinion, or maybe the movie was actually a kind of better. This season might have been affected by having to give out a lot of information on the new tribe that came out, and their history, and the history of the Abyss, and this level of the Abyss. But honestly, they worked it out really well. I was really interested in all the new characters in this crazy ass world that we saw. I really can't see any fault in this show. As I said in the anime recap video, they don't shy away from putting these characters in really crazy, torturous situations, and you feel the despair, you feel the dread in this world, you feel the danger they're actually facing. But at the end of the day, you can still feel the wonder and joy of these characters just going ahead and exploring this new world, you know? I love the new characters. I love Fabuta. She was really insanely cool. The villagers from the old village. I'm not trying not to spoil much. The characters that are on this new village and their characteristics and everything. The battles, I don't know, it's that season was crazy as hell. Those last few episodes were god tier, 10 out of 10 stuff. And that's rank for me. So let's go a little bit down here, and here is the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. Really good show. I said it was a wholesome little show, and you're gonna feel some wholesome vibes out of it. But it's really dang good. I really like the characters. I really like the dynamic of the Yakuza, the babysitter with the girl. The girl is really dang cute, man. I did say that in the video, but I found her really cute and charming. I think B is perfect for it. It's still really good. B is solid. It isn't higher in my list because some of the episodes are a bit slow, not gonna lie. I think the latter half of the season was better. There was an episode where they become YouTubers for some reason, and that was funny, but out of left field for me. I don't know, that was kind of weird. But this show strives in their message of family and how they unite after horrible situations and how they're still together. Maybe the only other thing I could say is that the characters are way too good looking, and for being Yakuza it's kind of weird. I'll admit that. That's the first thing I thought. These guys are way too good looking and model-esque to be Yakuza, you know? They turn it up a notch in episode 9 and 10. Gets real at some points, so it's really interesting. It has that good mix of feels with action and actual realness and feelings. I don't know, I love the show, man. It's really good. Where I would go lower on the list, though, would probably be Prima Doll. Yeah, I would say Prima Doll is a C tier. It's not bad. I think Prima Doll surprised me a bit. You see it on the surface, and it's just cute girls being maids in a cafe, but actually they're not girls, they're actually robots for some reason. But the reason is because this is a post-war world where automata or robots were used in combat. They actually used their music for controlling other automata. It is kind of weird how the show balances the cute moments when they're singing and they're performing on stage, them just being maids in the cafeteria, as I said. But then, oh, remember there's a war? And they show guns, and there's military, and there's killer robots on the loose, and like, what the fuck? You get some whiplash from seeing this. It's interesting, and I think it's good. I wouldn't put it at the level of Yakuza's Babysitting Guide, because I do think some of the filler really hold it back, but when it gets real, it's good. I would still put it like C. That's pretty decent for that show. Okay, let's lower the bar. Let's just put this out there. Worst anime of the season, I'm totally sure about that. Shoot, Go to the Future. After watching Aoashi to its completion, I gave that like a 9 out of 10. Seeing how Aoashi, they explained the game, the basics, seeing Aoi's progress from being just a attack position player and just actually learning the game from the position at the back, seeing how everything works, communicating and knowing this new world that he's living since it's in a new city, meeting Hana, meeting his new friends, being a good soccer player. It's really emotional. It's really cool. And then you go to Shoot, Go to the Future, and like, you see from episode 1 that there's no comparison at all. I know soccer can be emotional. I felt emotion from soccer as well. But from the very beginning, we see that the protag is like very sad and very emo-ish. He's in a rough. He can't really score goals since his friend comes out of his life and he can't score goals without him anymore. And that's sad. But not to the point that he's going, you know? I know it's anime, but it's still like really like, come on, dude. Get over it. And then we get the soccer match, and it's pretty meh. It's bland. And then you get the best friend coming back, and then he starts crying up a storm and being really BL-ish about it. Like, I don't know. It's really awkward and it's weird. I had no intentions of wanting to see how that went. And we get Aoashi, and then we get Blue Lock this season, and then we have this in the middle. Like, so yeah, that's F for me, dude. I wouldn't watch that ever again. A one that I would put over it would be the Luminous Witches one, which isn't good. As I explained on the anime recap video, this is a spin-off for the anime for the witches from 2003, where there are girls in like scantily clothed girls with furry tails that are shooting guns, like they're fighting air jets and everything in the war. But this is like from the same universe where these girls are not able to help out in the battlefield, so they decide to open up this group of music so they can go ahead and go heal the world after all this war and stuff. It's a neat concept, and the animation is actually pretty nice. It's from the same studio that made Madoka Magica. You see the scene where the girl is finding the music power within her, and there's a beautiful light, and it's coming down to earth, and she grabs it. It's beautifully animated. Like, those first 3 episodes, nicely designed, nice backgrounds, nice music. But then you get to episode 4, I believe, and they start making the idol group, and they switch over to CGI, and it looks pretty bad, to be honest. There's not much substance after like the first few episodes. If you're an idol fan and you can stomach some CGI that's not that good, it's fine. But for me, it's only like a D tier, like a 6 out of 10 maybe. Maybe 5 if I'm being more honest. Where I would also go with a D tier would be Arsnotoria. I did hear a lot of rumbling that Arsnotoria was more of an interesting concept than Prima Doll, but like, I never got that notion. Arsnotoria is beautifully animated. I'll say that upright. I really like the designs of the girls. Like, they look really like special, and I like how they draw them. It fits the vibe for like the magic anime that they're trying to do. The problem is that the whole show is just cute girls doing stuff. Like, literally, it's just like, okay, so we're in a magic school, we can learn magic, we can do all this cool stuff. Magic can do so much. First episode is about the main character sniffing something, like, oh, that smells nice, and it's like, okay, we're gonna spend like 10 minutes in this bakery, and then we're gonna spend the other half of the episode just drinking tea. Okay. When are we getting to the magic, you know? And then you get a 1-minute snippet of a cool wizard destroying like another civilization or something. And like, okay, so we're gonna get some cool stuff. Episode 2 comes out, same stuff. And episode 3 does the same, and I dropped it. So I don't know if this got better, and I hope it did. But honestly, as I left it, it's a D tier. It's not as bad as Shoot Go to the Future because it got saved with the animation, and I really like the designs of the characters. But because if you're doing slice of life, there's a way to do it. You can do something that Yakuza Guide to Babysitting did, or what Prima Doll did. It was more interesting, and the characters were more like fleshed out and likable. At least they called out more to me. What I would put next, maybe an A tier, would be the OVA special for Dr. Stone. Really good. It's like an hour-long episode of Dr. Stone. They are just continuing the arc from where they left off in the Stone Wars. They're trying to find the source of the light that came and destroyed the world. It's just really nice seeing all these characters again, you know? Great comedy, great action, great animation, like as always. I liked the OP remix of the first one. It's fine, it's really fun. Next we have the World Pharmacy, Other World Pharmacy. I would put that in B tier. I'm happy that Isekai Pharmacy lived up to my expectations. It's a really nice show. The difference is with other Isekai that it doesn't fall into the same tropes as other Isekais do. Like, okay, so we're gonna look for the slave girl, and now we're gonna do the whole mission still way that we can go get some experience and stuff. No, this royal family is already a pharmacist family, and this pharmacist dies from stress, so now he takes over the kid's body, which I don't know if they're gonna address that later, and how he has the power to create and destroy stuff with the palm of his hand is like cool, so that he can create the medicine he needs, and how he has this beautiful mind of every medicine in the world that can help. Pharma, the main character, is really dang likable. Like, he's like this heart of gold kid that's trying to help everybody, regardless of your financial situation. He always tries to help and never try to resort to fighting because he can fight. And I mean, it's really fun. I get a kick out of seeing how he would work with these with all the sickness and how he helps everybody. It's really just enjoyable, man. What I would put also next to it would probably be Fuuto Tantei at the moment. Fuuto Tantei it's not over yet. I think it's still missing like 3 more episodes, but I'm still gonna put it on the list. Fuuto Tantei is a spin-off from the Kamen Rider series, where they're supposed to be like this private eye, and the main characters are both really fun. Like, the whole cast is enjoyable. What makes me not put it at A tier might be that the fights aren't as good. They do a really good job in building up the fight and building up the mystery. It's been like 3 cases already, and all of them have been interesting in their own way. I did mention that it feels a bit JoJo-esque, and yeah, it is. It's not as crazy as JoJo, but it does have that energy and feel to it. And I find it funny when they're using their powers and they have the USB sticks and they're saying Joker or power, and then you put it again and they're doing the power again. It's so like Power Ranger-esque. It's fun. The story and the mystery itself is like good, but if you're just willing to just enjoy the mood and enjoy the campiness, it's really fun to combine these 2 kind of genres into one. The campiness action with like the mystery and the solving of the mystery. It's really good. I would put it at B tier. It's really recommendable if you haven't watched it. Okay, so what I would put at F tier as well, and this is, again, it's okay if you enjoy the show. I really just can't vibe with Rent a Girlfriend, man. I can't get this show anymore. I think season 1 is a respectable like 6.5 out of 10, maybe like 6 or something like that. We're gonna discover these girls and how, for some unknown reason, they like Kazuya, you know? Which Kazuya himself from the first season was, okay, let's see how this guy fucks up everything. The first three episodes are like really annoying, and they got on my nerves real quick, and I really couldn't watch the show. I also can't really fault Kazuya himself, because the girls are also really like annoying. If Chizuru doesn't like him, just let him be. If the other girl sees that Kazuya doesn't like her, let him rot, I don't know. If Mami hates him so much, like, why are you coming back to him? Sumi is fine. He's cute. He's just really quiet, and that's it. I don't know, I just really can't vibe with any of them. You have a show with 4 girls, and if I can't vibe with any of those girls, it's like, you lost me, you know? Also, as I said, the OST felt like it fell off a bit. The animation has been a little bit wonky. Again, if it got better after the first 3 episodes, that's fine, but I just can't stomach the show anymore, man. Again, it's fine if you like it, but it's just not for me, you know? And also, an F tier, and I think this is actually worse than Rent a Girlfriend, is the Biscuit Hammer one. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. What a disappointment, man. I'm reading people's opinion on it, and I see that the manga had a lot of fans waiting for the anime adaptation, and I'm so sad to see those fans like let down from this. I did stomach like 2 or 3 episodes, and I really disliked the art style like a lot. The designs are bland, but the animation doesn't even try that much. The color scheme of the show is like watered down and kind of like dirty for some reason. It's not my cup of tea. I did say on the video that this anime studio worked on Sabikui Bisco, and Sabikui Bisco was full of life and so really like interesting at the start. I don't feel that at all in this show, like at all. It's just so lifeless, you know. It feels like they didn't even try with this show. The main character's annoying. The girl is like, I'm gonna destroy the world. You're gonna be with me, and like, okay, I just don't care about the concept. Something that's named the Biscuit Hammer with a big ass hammer in the sky, and it doesn't grab my attention, you know there's something wrong with the show. Another one I would put at F tier is Extreme Sports, and yeah, I also would put that right before Rent a Girlfriend. Extreme Sports is another idol show. They're an attorney that is going to help them reach fame quicker for some reason, and it's a sports tournament with every single sports you've heard about or haven't heard about. So if they're playing soccer, they have these shoes that make them kick harder, or if they're playing baseball, they're using mechanical bats. So it's basically just them playing Mario Strikers or Mario Baseball or Mario Tennis or whatever. The first episode, or well, the second episode, they played the soccer tournament, and they were like, okay, so we're at 20 goals against 19 in the first half. Like, the fuck? I mean, it's a small little soccer field, but come on, man, how do you do so many goals? The girls themselves are pretty boring, if I'm honest. This show is just boring, so yeah, that's why it's an F tier. Let's switch it up a notch and go with something good. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I am kind of conflicted in where to put this one. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is good. It's really good. Don't take me wrong. But it just misses out in getting a 10 out of 10 for me because I feel like if you had one more episode or two, they could have made the ending not as like quick. Because the ending itself of the show, when she goes, well, spoilers, but when she does the thing, and it gets really emotional. It's like perfect ending to the show. But the stuff that happened right before that like felt like quick. Okay, we don't have any time to process this, so let's go ahead and just give the finale. Like, I would have liked one more episode after that to like explore like an epilogue of the show, you know. And that maybe it's just me being like greedy and wanting more, but I feel that would have given the show like a 10 out of 10 on my book. But apart from that, it's a really good show, dude. It's amazing. Actually, I would put it at the top of A tier. The animation is perfect. The whole vibes of it, it's like, if I wasn't interested in Cyberpunk 2077 before, I'm interested now. Studio Trigger is perfect for these kinds of like concepts and this kind of vibe and mood. I really like David. I mean, the first episode really like sticks out to David. Like, okay, so world is shitty and it could be worse, and it really is worse for David. The power that he uses to zoom in after he gets the spine put in, it's like, damn, it's like really, really good. How they animate the shadow to go from one place to another, like copying and pasting every like half second, and changing the color like for the rainbow, and cutting back to the action all fast paced is really dang good. Lucy is great. Like, everybody went nuts for Lucy, and I really like Rebecca as well. Where Trigger was like, okay, we're going to need to calm down a bit. We're not going to be able to go full kill on this show just yet, but hey, there's Rebecca. Let's put all of our efforts into Rebecca, into being goofy and funny and crazy, and yeah, she's great. But yeah, every episode switching from like the sad episode and then to David being hopeful, and then the montage where he gets acquainted with everybody, and then the episode where everything goes down, everything goes to shit. It's like perfect. Like, they really worked really well. Again, I'm being a little bit of a dick and putting it at A tier because, again, I don't feel it as a 10 out of 10 anime for me, but it's done really well for a lot of people, and it's still an amazing show, so don't take that as an attack to the show. It just, I wanted more, so that's why I'm putting it at A tier. It's a dumb reason to put it at an A tier, but it's still really good. Don't take that too seriously. The other one that I would put at D tier is my Isekai Life, the Tamer of Animals or Tamer of Beasts. and he comes into this world and gets help from slimes to pretty much just become OP because he can use the slimes as conduits for his power, and he can say, okay, so you're gonna throw fire to that thing, and yeah, do it. And they do it, and he doesn't have to face too much danger. So there's little to no risks to what he's doing. It's hard to describe the show because it's really like generic. I did say that I thought it was like on par with like Black Summoner, but not really. Black Summoner has more personality and heart to it, and the protag of My Isekai Life is really like bland, and he doesn't really have a personality until like episode 6, where they're trying to shoehorn in like, oh, he loves food, so I love food, so I'm gonna do this. Like out of nowhere, he likes food, and he's trying to help this village because none other than because he wants food. And okay, so you have a personality trait at episode 5, like it's shoehorned in a bit. And yeah, it's like stories and arcs surrounding him, but he never has something interesting by himself, you know. So there's not really anything to talk about the show. It's not as bad as the F tiers, but it's not anything like special after that, you know. Next to that one and being bland is Yurei Deco. I was thinking about putting Yurei Deco at F, but it still has stuff that lets it stand out from the F tier. I mean, the designs are good, the location is interesting, the concept itself about being in a world that is governed by how many likes you have and how popular you look, and the VR system that is like blinding you from the real stuff is interesting. It's a good concept, but after all that is said and done, the characters are really, I wouldn't say bland, they're annoying. Barry is able to see through the facade that this world has put in with the VR system because she has one of her eyes like damaged, and it's interesting there, but then she starts like saying a lot of like annoying catchphrases that are like, they get too annoying too quick. And then you have Hack, the little hacker that is just playing around, and he's also like, he has a language that he spews that is kind of like annoying too. So I don't know, I was expecting something like deep and emotional and like with a message there, and maybe there's a message, but after Barry, Hack, and the other people are added to the mix, it's just boring to me. It's just annoying. So not as bad as F tier, but D tier is perfect for this one. I think S tier is missing something, so let's... Call of the Night is probably one of the best new shows in a while. Like, holy shit. I was thinking to myself, because I was watching my anime list and seeing like it has like an 8.15 or 8.2, and other shows that came out this year are higher. But I was like, okay, so let me think in the back of my mind, what is it on this show that I could nitpick on? Maybe the show is kind of like too out there and it's too weird. Maybe the last episode had like a surprise reveal that was kind of like, anime has overused this trope way too much, so like, ugh. But after that, like, there's nothing much I can say that's wrong with this show, at least to me. The color schemes are freaking phenomenal, the backgrounds are beautiful as heck, the characters are really enjoyable and relatable a lot, way too relatable. And why Ko is doing this is because he just feels like an outcast in the day, and he wants to be a night guy, per se. So I don't know, it's just really relatable. And then we get to meet more of his friends from school, and they're interesting as well. They have their own faults, and they feel like real people. The way they hang out is like super chill and relatable. It's perfect. I don't know. It's quirky, it's funny, it also gets really dark and deep at times. It gets really romantic, it gets heavy. It's like, it's a good mix of genres that at the end of the day like works really well, in spite of being a vampire show. Like, the way they describe the nightlife, the way they show it to you with the colors, how it's alluring, the way Nazuna is like this temptress, but at the same time she's really embarrassed when talking about love life, and it's cute, it's funny. I don't know, it's it's the best of every world, at least to me. So there was no way I was not gonna put Call of the Night at S tier. I really, really enjoyed it. So let's go back down a bit and talk about Harem Isekai in the dungeon or whatever. God damn this show. I was really sure I was gonna put it at F tier, but I actually, after watching the first 3 episodes and how it tamed itself into not overdoing it with the raunchiness and the culture, it has really good isekai feel. Like, it has really Middle Earth kind of feel, like how the guy is going and discovering his powers and going into the dungeon and fighting, and how the town feels like this perfect isekai town. But once he has the money, and once he gets some money after murdering bandits and cashing in their rewards and stuff, and he gets the the mentioned slave slash harem girl. I'm not saying this is badly animated. It's not even like terrible like as a show point, but they go from anime show to hentai and like that, dude. It's like, holy shit. Episode 4 just goes for it. If you're not seeing this on Crunchyroll, you understand what I mean. Crunchyroll just goes ahead and puts in like street signs and freaking virus pop-ups and stuff. It's really funny how they try to censor it. I don't know how they censored episode 4 because I went ahead and just watched the culture version, but no, man. It stands out from the F tier, and it actually put it over, like, from these shows, this is like the best D tier show. And I'm serious. I wouldn't watch it anymore. I dropped it at episode 4. But if you're into that and you have the option of watching these 5 shows, I'd recommend the Isekai Harem one. But yeah, I'm amazed that it didn't go into F tier, but here we are. I think I'm warming up to the I can't believe it's not hentai genre now. But I did not buy the My Maid is Sus show, to be honest. Is really awkward to me. I don't know. I made the joke with the Among Us thing on the summer anime recap thing, but it is kind of suspicious how this works. I did drop at episode 2, so I'm not sure if maybe she's like a relative, or they're not related by blood, or she's a sister, and or she might be the mom or something, which would be even weirder. Or she's like an aunt, or maybe she's just like really happy to see him and that's why she's blushing and stuff, which is not an acceptable reason. There's nothing like enough to me to pull it from being in D tier, so yeah, whatever. Yeah, I would put it at right next to Yurei Deco over here. Let's put something a bit better over here. So we're gonna put in Black Summoner at C tier. I did think Black Summoner was better than the other isekai, as I mentioned. For one, the prota actually has a personality, which they do repeat a ton, so they always say, oh, he's a battle junkie, and they repeat that every like 2 or 3 episodes. And the way he is basically in like a Pokemon world, and he captures a slime. He finds a Black Knight, and a CGI Black Knight, and he recruits him to his party, and then you have the Goddess of Reincarnation, and then you have the obvious slave girl, and then you have the girl that was the daughter of the Demon Lord that he had to rescue. I like the dynamic between them, at least. Except maybe at the end of like maybe at episode like 10 or 11, if I'm remembering correctly, they start like fighting over him, which I get it. Isekais do the harem trope a lot. But I was hoping this one wouldn't do that, and they kind of do it. They don't overuse it, but it is used in the last like 3-4 episodes, so that might have taken it down a notch for me. I would put Prima Doll over it in this case. I like the system where they're getting level up and how they're getting like powers and stuff. The villains or the monster they fight are interesting. The world itself is cool. The concept itself of other isekai people maybe being there, or the other heroes that they kind of like acquaint. He is overpowered, but at least they try to explain his overpowerness a little bit, and he tries to help his party, and the party is fine. I think they're a fun group of characters. that do get a bit generic at times, but it's still really good. And the animation is decent. Maybe once they switch to CGI, sometimes it looks a little bit iffy, but being CGI, it still works for the majority of the battles that they do, which are not a lot. They use the CGI mostly for the night for some reason, and it still doesn't look bad. I think it looks kind of unique how the CGI night is just there with the other 2D characters, and I kind of dig it. The opening is really top-notch. I think it's probably one of my favorite openings from last summer. I like how it's like the animation is like crazy, like glitchy, and how it goes with the beat of the music, and it's unique. I really like it, and the song is really good too. So really good opening, and that maybe the opening is why I'm thinking more highly of the show. But honestly, I had some fun watching it, so it's a perfect C tier. This one is Shine Post, and I honestly just skipped this one. I did see it, but I just skimmed through episode 1. I don't think it's bad enough to put it at F tier, but I think, at least for me, I put it at the D tier, like lower D tier here. It's just an idol show, and they're trying to overcome them being fired or being pretty much disowned by their idol company. And I thought the designs were good. The girls seemed like nicely designed, and how they animated the performances and how they were training looked good. So it's a perfect B tier for me. I would put... man. I hate that I'm gonna not put this lower, but my ex-girlfriend's mom is now my stepmom, or what was this called? The daughter of my stepmom is my ex, or what was it? I forgot how they named it. It was a really weird naming for this one. It's a C tier for me. I'm so weirded out that I'm putting it as a C tier, but it's better than all of the D tier shows in my opinion. The majority of the show works because the main guy is really likable, or at least I found him like charming and interesting, even though he is like a witty, sarcastic asshole. And the girl, she's kind of annoying. I'll be honest, the girl is kind of annoying, but when she is with him, they do well as like a couple / not related by blood siblings. So the concept of the show was something that I read when I did the video, and I was like, okay, direct F tier. This is gonna be like the worst show of the season. And it did start the show with like the kind of, we're brother and sister now, so we're not gonna be able to be lovers because they shouldn't, and we don't want to be Sweet Home Alabama here. So what I'm gonna do anyway is going to challenge you into thinking like, hey, maybe I still like him, so I'm gonna pull this Kaguya-sama Love is War shit on you and make you admit that you like me and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. First episode was actually kind of like interesting and funny. In some points it did go kind of cringy when the towel scene and stuff like that, but it's this kind of show, so you have to go head empty with these ones. After that, it did get a little annoying. Like episode 2 to like 6 or 7, they were doing like flashbacks to how their past relationship was, and that was kind of cute. I think as a love story itself, they have an interesting love story with her being like the outcast and being very shy, and him being unable to like express himself. Somehow they found each other and they liked their companionship, and how they just strayed away from each other only to end up being siblings. Like damn world, fuck you. And that part was nice. I like the flashbacks, but afterwards, seeing how they are still trying to be like, okay, so we're not together, but I still kind of like you, so I'm gonna put boundaries on other people so they don't get with you, you know? Still being like jealous of other relationships is kind of weird, and I'm not a big fan of that, but still, not much of those episodes were like that, so that's good. The girl that started out as a stalker was probably my worst character of the show. Well, before they introduced the cousin, which was even worse. The best girl was the green carrot girl, which she's the perfect like dude girlfriend. Like she can be your girlfriend, but she can also be your bro. The girl with the most personality in the show. I think the show itself kind of got annoying when they weren't able to just get sarcastic about their relationship and actually try to go against each other. Like, but at the end of the day, it still got enjoyable. I like the laughs. I like how the whole show itself like poked fun at itself. Like, oh, they're closer than us because they're brother and sister. Like, you get it? They said we're close and we're not just brother and sister. Like, stupid stuff like that. I don't know. It's super turn off your brain and enjoy it kind of thing. I wouldn't recommend it if you're like trying to find something like actually good. It's like, this is like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. How about this? We're going to talk about, I think When Will Ayumu Make His Move is really good. I think the Takagi-san fan in me is coming out because it is from the same creator. And the reversal of the roles happens here where the girl is the shy one and Ayumu is the one that's more proactive. But Ayumu isn't doing it to tease her. He's just oblivious to what he's doing, and Sensei is just really like overexcitable and really cute in that sense. I really like the school vibe of the show and how their friends are just trying to push them into being like a couple, but Ayumu is not going to do that push until he beats her in shogi, which might be the only fault I see in the show. They over-rely on the shogi part of the show, like, too much. Imagine if the show, instead of shogi, it worked with, like, chess or, like, checkers. It would be the same, like, okay, so how about we do this? We're gonna play shogi, or we're gonna play checkers while they're talking about other stuff, or while they're flirting, you know? It's weird, but I understand that shogi is being used as the medium that they use to, like, connect to each other, which is fine. If the Yakuza babysitter would be a B+, this would be like a B-. But it's still really enjoyable. I like the designs. The characters are really cute. I really like the Yaotome. Is really cute. I really like her design. She's like this petite girl who is 1 year older than Ayumu, but she's nice. She's cute. I like her. It encompasses the perfect like school rom-com kind of vibe, if you want that vibe. So it's nice. I like it. It's perfect B- kind of show. Where I'm gonna put Tokyo Mew Mew New at the top of D tier. And as someone who never saw Tokyo Mew Mew before, I thought it was fine. But I do feel that the concept of the show is really like kind of dated. After watching like Madoka Magica, I think I have already like hit the peak of these kinds of like magical girl shows. So after seeing those shows, like these are fine characters. She's quirky, she's funny, the main girl, and the other ones are decent. It's fine. If you're a magical girl fan, it's the show for you. I think it's a good combination of old and new in their own way. But still, I wouldn't put it over like D+, you know? The one that edges out of D tier, I think, would be Bucchigire. It's not as good as the ex-girlfriend one, but Bucchigire, it's fine, but it doesn't get better. The characters themselves are like these tropes of characters, like the redhead that is like a hothead, the killer who is like this freaking loner guy, and then the girl, and then you have the fat guy who likes to eat, and then we have the guy that likes to invent the stuff, and then we have the guy who is a priest for some reason, and the old guy who is cool. They stick with their own like tropes, and there's really not much. The action scenes are decent enough. So it looks good animation wise. It looks like perfectly acceptable, but there's nothing else to scream out, okay, let me keep watching this. I'm really excited to see what the next episode is. It really isn't, so that's why it stays at like C- tier. But I do really like the design and the color scheme. It's really cool, but everything else is like meh. So yeah, that's why it's like C-. It still stands out from the D tier though. Okay, we're gonna have to go back to the F tier, and we have Teppen. Not much from Teppen. I would actually put it like at F tier. It's not as bad as Rent a Girlfriend, but it wasn't anything to write home about either. I'm kind of sad it is that way, because Teppen is about groups of girls who are like in comedy trios. The first episode did, again, like I said in the video, they try to build up to this joke at the end. Like, a lot of the jokes feel understandable if you're from Japan, but it didn't click with me, you know? There's other comedy shows that do a way better job in doing that, so I just skipped it. So it's an F for me, but it's harmless if you're into that, but it's still like an F. The one that would go next to Bucchigire would probably be Kamikusu Idol. Kamikusu Idol just barely passes D tier for me because of the concept and the main character and the idol, the ghost idol. They're fun, they're quirky, I like their little dynamic. It's a cool concept. It gets really funny at points, but after episode 3 or 4, they start repeating the formula and they start going into the idol life more. And the problem with idol shows is that they start getting too generic and samey, and I'm not really interested in seeing like the perspective of an idol. It also doesn't help that the show suffered a lot in the animation side when they were doing the performances, but the comedy itself and the characters puts it right at C-. Okay, just okay. Okay, let's add some people over to the A tier. I would put Shadow's House at A tier, actually. I know that Shadow's House Season 2 started off a little bit too slow, but honestly, if you keep seeing the season, I think they went really well. Season 2 closed off with a great cliffhanger and kept me interested into what's going to happen next. The backstory of the other guests and the other shadows is really interesting, exploring how our own characters can still grow and how they're going to be able to somehow get out of here. It feels like Shadow House has that kind of Promised Neverland Season 1 feel at times, and I like that a lot. It still can get really dark all of a sudden, and combining the quirkiness and niceness of it, so it's like these two genres meshing up really well. I just really like the characters, man. These characters really push the show really well. And as always, I think the opening and the ending are really dang good. Cloverworks really does good with the characters and the animation for this show. Actually, after thinking about it, I would put Shadow House almost at the top of, right between B tier here. Yeah, if I'm going to be completely honest, I would think Dr. Stone and Cyberpunk were better than them, but B tier is not bad. Anything over B tier is a must recommend from my side. Next up, we have Vermeil in Gold, and it's fine. I would put Vermeil in Gold right next to Black Summoner. I mean, if you haven't seen Vermeil, she is this big, boobad demon woman who is like twice the height of Alto. Well, not twice, but she's 2 boobs ahead of him. she's like 1 head over him in size, so. And I thought the show at the beginning had a lot of like promise, even though they had their hentai-ish kind of like opening, because Vermeil is like a kind of succubus, so she has to feed on his mana, so she kisses him. They don't show them doing more, but they do kiss very passionately at times. In spite of that, I thought it had potential because the explanation of the magic was interesting, and how they animated it on action-wise was kind of interesting, kind of cool. It has this edge to it, but it still can carry itself well. But what I would say has it like in the middle C's is because they overdo it with Vermeil and Alto like kissing out of nowhere. Like, dude, get a room. It's like really awkward at times, and it like takes away from the story a lot. And the magic starts getting a bit bland almost at the end of the show. But we do get some evil characters and like more student council characters that are interesting, at least. And the other characters really fall into the not only Vermeil, but the other like female characters also fall into the etchiness of it. And like, okay, we get it, dude. And it's like, it's not as good of a transition of like 2 genres, like etchiness and serious magic stuff, as you would want it to be, but I still kind of enjoyed it. By the end, I was kind of like wishing it would end. It's still good. I would still lightly recommend it if you can stomach all the etchiness. And after that, I would put Kakegurui Twin right about B tier. I think Kakegurui Twin is a decent B tier. It's fine. I will admit that I'm a Kakegurui fan, so that's why it goes higher than probably what other people would put it. They're exploring Sautome's like character before. She's a good character. She can carry herself on the show really nicely. It holds its own from the normal 2 seasons that we had before. It's not as crazy because we are missing our main girl. It's crazy, it's fun, but I do think it feels a little bit more tame than the other 2 seasons, but it's still really good. Okay, 3 more. Engaged Kiss. I would put Engaged Kiss at C tier. but it would probably be the top of C tier actually. I did put the Engaged Kiss at the top of my 5 shows that I was more excited to watch, but honestly it kind of fell off at the end of the show. I still think it's really good, but it has a lot of contrivances. I don't know, I just wasn't that big of a fan of the whole Kisara arc, if I'm going to be completely honest. The main character I still think he's not an unlikable character. Engaged Kiss is a tough one to talk about because it's animated really good. A1 Pictures did really good with it. I think it's not as good as well animated as Lycoris Recoil in my opinion. Did its own with like the action and how they use like lasers and the whole sci-fi more part of it. What I would say holds it back is because they do a lot of exposition in a lot of episodes and it gets a little bit dull at some parts. I do like Shu. Shu has... I do know that a lot of people hate Shu because he is a bit of a dick. Pretty much all of the characters in the show are kind of assholes in their own right. But I still really enjoyed them, and I do think Kisara gets way too much praise, like from Shu and the others, to be like, she kind of saves herself at the end of the show, but like, I still don't really like her character that much. I think Yugiri Ayano was the one character that might have got more screwed over in the show. Sharon was interesting. She was like out of nowhere, but she was a cool like nun character. It is considered a rom-com, but the comedy side of things isn't like used a lot. It's more like action romance, and there is some comedy when they're like, oh, and you suck, and like, oh, you can laugh. But I don't know. I think I'm just rambling on without giving a good point here, but still decent at least. So now we get to Isekai Ojisan, and I think this is a bit controversial because Isekai Ojisan has not ended yet, and it's having a lot of production troubles, which sucks. But I still think it's an A tier show, dude. The concept of the uncle going from Isekai to normal world with the visions he has is like really funny. The reactions the other characters have to his adventures and how he screwed up and how he messed up a lot of the isekai tropes, and he couldn't get any relationships, or he was hunted down because he was really bad at gauging his powers, or he was really bad at gauging his social life, is really hilarious. The animation is great. I like how they switch styles again for the isekai normal style. I really like the uncle and the nephew's relationship. I like the childhood friend who was really like manly and aggressive as a kid, and now is like this cute normal girl. I don't know, it's all good. The elf girl in the isekai, the girl who doesn't want to work, it's really good. I know this is not for everybody. I know Isekai Ojisan maybe relies too much on fan service. Kind of, they really do, and I think that's why a lot of people are tuning off from it, but I still find it really enjoyable. But at least this one, I always end up laughing for what they're doing with those kinds of jokes. It's not like being pervy just to be pervy, you know? I respect anybody's opinion on that, but I do think it's like an A- show at the moment. It still can go down. We still have 5 more episodes. Who knows when we're gonna get them, but I think it's really good. And the last one, and this one might be the one that I was more indecisive on, is Lycoris Recoil. Now, Lycoris Recoil itself is an original show, so it was not based on anything, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I really like the characters. I like Chisato, I like Takina, I like the main group, the other Lycoris girls. The villain is really good as well. This premise, how the concept of the show is just Japan having to choose these Keanu Reeves kind of girls just to hide anything bad that's going on in Japan, violence-wise or like crime-wise. The perfect show, at least for me, that combines comedy with action, kind of emotional at times as well. And this might be controversial, and I hope I don't get anybody mad, because again, this is my opinion, but I would put Lycoris Recoil at S tier. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And I know I'm putting it over Cyberpunk, but personally, to me, it's a 10 out of 10. Cyberpunk is like a 9.5 out of 10. What pushes Lycoris over the edge, and it's gonna sound like really simpish, but it's Chisato, man. I really, really, really like Chisato's character. She's wonderful. The voice actors for her did a really good job with her character, with how she delivers herself, and how she balances being quirky, nice, and also being a badass all in the same like frame. The last episode when she was fighting the villain was like the main example on why her voice actress did a wonderful job with her. Her relationship with her best friend, Takina. And, which again, this show isn't a Yuri. If anybody is on the fence and watching this show for whatever reason and you're doing that because you think this is a Yuri show, it's not. It's not a Yuri show. People are drawing them like that, like doing fan arts because Chisato is really like being like flirtish with her. She's flirtish with everybody, but more with Takina. But it's not officially a Yuri show. Who knows if in the future they're gonna change that, but honestly it never delves into the Yuri thing. It feels more like two girls who have a really nice connection. They complement each other really well. Takina is like cold calculating to the point. I'm gonna do my job and I don't care if I have to kill these people to do it. And Chisato is this kind, wonderfully quirky girl who tries to not kill anybody. She's always been the girl who doesn't... She's using like rubber bullets that won't kill anybody, just enough to like knock them out. They mix each other very well, with Chisato trying to have Takina being more out of her shell, more social, and Takina tries to help her to not be overconfident in other people, and also Takina trying to save her and all that. I won't spoil much, but yeah. Add on the amazing action, the gunplay, Chisato flying to every bullet and just being freaking Super Saiyan God mode. I don't know. It's really damn good. The personality every character has, because pretty much all of the characters are likable. I can't find any fault in any of them. There's way too much to love for this show. I mean, I can gush about it even more. The opening is great. It's superb. I really like the opening and the animation it has. The ending is flawless. It's like the song itself is really like catchy and nice. I used it for my summer anime video, and the animation is great for it as well. Chisato's personality, Chisato's like catchphrases, her quirkiness, the bad and good hackers that were used in the show, the antagonist, how he's like kind of relatable to see, like at least relatable in the sense that he doesn't want the world to be blind to what the government is trying to hide from them. Don't just think of it as a girls do stuff kind of show, because it's not. It's not in a sense. A cute girls doing stuff show is Prima Doll. A cute girls doing stuff show is Arsnotoria, and I can accept criticism to those ones, but Lycoris Recoil is not a cute girls doing stuff show. It's an action comedy show with a lot of heavy stuff, with some really good action scenes, with some great characters, with some superb animation and details in the backgrounds, and it's really dang good, dude. You'll enjoy it. If you're an anime fan, I think you owe it to yourself to watch Lycoris Recoil. And considering it's an original anime and it's not based on anything, even more so, it's amazing how good it got. A1 like nailed it at the first try with that one, like really good. So yeah, enough gushing about Lycoris Recoil. So checking out the list, I do think this is how I would put it. Made It Abyss at number 1, and Call of the Night and Lycoris Recoil, it's still at S tier. And F tier, the worst one, we go to Goal to the Future. Without considering the anime I didn't watch and the sequels I haven't seen, this would be my tier list of summer 2022. Again, this is just my dumb opinion, but if you think I might have put something in the wrong tier, or what would be your favorite anime of the season, let me know in the comments. I would really like to hear what your opinions are on this cool ass season. It was really cool. Summer might have been overlooked by some at the beginning, but I think just with the first 6 shows in this list I have, it was a really good season anyways. Expect a lot of these to be in my top 10 anime of the year, so we'll see in the future. But anyway, guys, do you have any ideas on what else I could talk to? Do you want me to do a video on Cyberpunk? Would you like to see these kinds of videos in the future? Let me know. And as always, if you can, just hit the subs and the likes and all that thing. But anyway, stay tuned for more. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I really want to hear from you in the comments. And I hope to see you all for the next one. See you guys.